What's going on, guys? I'm IcyRhythms. Welcome back to another video, and in this one, my top 5 things to love about the PlayStation 5. I've had my PlayStation 5 for more than a few weeks now, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite Sony consoles. We have a long way to go to determine whether or not it will become the #1 PlayStation console, but it's difficult to imagine I'll ever enjoy a Sony console more than I did the original PlayStation. Maybe the PlayStation 5 will be the one to finally take over my #1 spot. We're heading into that early start of the second year of the PlayStation 5, and already there have been some great game releases from both third-party and first-party developers, along with some improvements to the console's software itself. Games like Demon's Souls, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man Remastered, and Spider-Man Miles Morales are some of the great exclusives that take advantage of some of the PlayStation 5's better capabilities. So what are my top 5 things to love about the PlayStation 5 in my opinion? Let's get into it. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the PlayStation Store itself at number 5. The PlayStation Store in this case is so much better than it ever was before. I personally find it much faster and much easier to navigate than any previous console with the store. Doing something like wishlisting is quick and easy, and being able to set notifications for your wishlist items is a really nice touch. Nothing necessarily new, but it's still a welcome feature. I likely won't buy a ton of digital games, as I prefer to own my physical copies on a lot of the games I buy when it comes to consoles. I can't explain that because I'm totally fine with digital on PC, but it's just how I've always been, especially with the bigger releases. Either way, for those smaller titles, having features like that is a really nice plus. At number 4, it's no doubt the DualSense controller. I wasn't as impressed as many seemed to be for the first few days I used the controller, but it felt nice overall, and at least in my experience, a step up in build quality over the DualShock 4. I absolutely love the DualShock 4, but it was always a roll of the dice on how long those things, even brand new out of the box, would last before something started to go wrong. 6 months, a year, 2 years at the most. I can't explain it because you have to use the controller for yourself to know for sure, but the DualSense just feels like a more premium controller, and I'm hoping it doesn't have the same quality control issues as the DualShock 4. I'm loving the controller the more I use it. I still think I prefer the way the DualShock felt in my hands a little bit more, but the DualSense is right there. It's close, and the D-pad on the DualSense is arguably my favorite D-pad ever. Sony just continues to improve that D-pad with each new controller, each new console generation, and the one on this controller is the greatest in gaming as far as I'm concerned. If you're big into genres like fighters, or you just prefer the D-pad for certain controls depending on the game you're playing, I don't see how you could complain about the DualSense. Even the face buttons feel better and they look better, just a lot more premium again overall, just quality throughout the controller. Adaptive triggers, yeah, for me, at least not right now, not really my thing, and I think I'll be turning that off for most games. I can see what they were trying to do. I think there is potential there, but for me, I just really appreciate the overall quality and design of the DualSense more than worrying about something like adaptive triggers. Coming in at number 3, no doubt it won't be everyone's number 3, and while it could be considered a small and irrelevant change for some, it has huge impact. And of course, I'm talking about anything that deals with your network when connected with the PlayStation 5. Wi-Fi speeds are greatly improved over the PlayStation 4. It's almost not even fair how much of a difference there is there with the Wi-Fi on the PlayStation 5 versus the PlayStation 4. In my case, I currently have the option, as well as prefer, to go wired, so even that is a really big step up over the PlayStation 4. The PS4 and the PS4 Pro would use a little bit more than 25% of my top speeds while using Wi-Fi and wired. The PlayStation 5 uses a whole lot more at around 90% when wired and around 75% when using Wi-Fi. Again, not a total deal breaker for some or a huge issue, but another welcome upgrade for gamers like myself. If you would have asked me when they first started talking about this feature if it would have made a list like this at all, I would have told you no, but I finally have my PlayStation 5 and now I'm a believer. In fact, I think with the right game and obviously the right talent and the want to accomplish great things, the 3D audio stuff with the headphones is huge. When Mark Cerny talked about 3D audio with the PlayStation 5, I wanted to throw it right out the window with adaptive triggers and other gimmicks they've tried in the past. I'm big on sound, and I wanted to try this feature. I have well over $1,200 wrapped up in my sound equipment for PC gaming experiences alone, and I have to say, if you play something like Demon's Souls or one of the Spider-Man games using 3D audio, game changer. It's a big game changer as far as I'm concerned. I really can't believe how good a handful of these games sound with the right headphones plugged into the controller. Sony, you got it right with 3D audio. Even if you're playing games that weren't necessarily designed with the PlayStation 5 or 3D audio in mind, it's still going to sound a whole lot better than basic audio would coming through your TV speakers or something of that nature. Is the 3D audio stuff in the PlayStation 5 a replacement for a nice home theater setup? Probably not, but I prefer the headphone experience, and I live in an apartment, so my neighbors would probably thank me anyway. I would say if you have a PlayStation 5 or you plan to get a PlayStation 5, give this feature a try. You may be as blown away as I am with the right games. Before I get to that #1 spot, I want to take a minute to shout out a couple of the cool honorable mentions. PlayStation 4 storage is huge. The ability to move all your PlayStation 4 installs as well as your new PS5 installs onto one big hard drive saves a lot of time, and for those with data caps, a lot of data. It's awesome that this more or less came right out of the gate and not something that Sony made us wait for a big update in the middle of the generation for. Now, I don't want to confuse anyone. You can't play the PlayStation 5 games from the external hard drive, but you can store the data from those games there and move them to your stock SSD or secondary if you choose to upgrade the PlayStation 5 storage, which I completely recommend, by the way, because 670 gigs out of the box, whatever it is not enough for the games of today. My second and final honorable mention would have to go to some of the free PS5 upgrades you get with your PS4 versions of games. These are completely free downloads and others are just simple patches. It's going to vary from game to game, but you can always check the lists online to see which games actually have PlayStation 5 upgrades that are free and which games receive PlayStation 5 patches to improve things about the PlayStation 4 version. An example would be something like Crash Bandicoot 4 or Final Fantasy VII Remake. Those came with free PlayStation 5 versions, but something like Mass Effect Legendary Edition receives only a PlayStation 5 patch to give 4K 60 FPS. Heading right into my #1 with no drum roll required, load times. I remember when Sony first started talking about the PlayStation 4 and they had some of the people in their first-party studios as well as third-party studios saying things like, no more waiting. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this going to be possible? This thing is still using a hard drive. We are almost there or right on the money in some cases with the PlayStation 5. Consider me impressed. In fact, I would say very impressed. I can't believe how fast some of these games load, and not just in and out of very detailed environments as seen in something like Demon's Souls. As impressive as that is, and it is impressive, firing up Spider-Man from the home UI is easily some of the fastest loading I've ever seen. Just click on it from the home UI, you're in the menu in a couple of seconds, click continue, and the game loads in like half a second or less. Even something as simple and casual as Call of Duty Warzone. Within seconds, you're in the menus looking for a match, so it's not just the exclusives that take advantage of the new improved speeds for these consoles. Yeah, Red Dead 2, anyone? I remember Red Dead 2 waiting anywhere from 1.5 to 2 minutes or more on the PlayStation 4 Pro. Red Dead 2 for me now loads in at roughly 40 to 50 seconds. Also, side note, Rockstar, can we get that RDR2 next-gen patch or free upgrade instead of releasing GTA 5 for the 40th time? Thanks in advance, pimps. All in all, some of these changes could be considered small things that, again, make a big difference in the overall experience. Sony, if we could just get custom themes at some point, like really, really soon type of some point, or the ability to take a screenshot and use it as a background or a wallpaper, maybe? I think it's an absolute trash can experience and completely unacceptable that some of the ones that I bought for PlayStation 4 just can't be used on the PlayStation 5. I'm sure there are reasons other than money. Hell, to be honest, I wish I could use some of the ones I purchased on PlayStation 3. It's a damn shame. Thank you guys so much for watching my top 5 things to love about the PlayStation 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section, what are your top 5 things to love about the PlayStation 5? Always interested in seeing different opinions. You guys take care. Peace.